Hi, welcome to Chats with the Chaplain. I'm Jess. I hope you're going well. I cannot believe we are in December. We are running through to the end of the year, and then that's 2021 done, and we head into 2022. So I thought now is a good time to maybe have a couple of chats around reflecting on the year that's been and reframing things, because sometimes, especially a hard year like this year, we can get to the end of it and we just want to get past it. We keep saying, I'm done with this year. I want to forget it. I want to move on, bring on 2022 or whatever the next year is. And I've certainly had those years in my life where I've found myself saying, I'm done with this year. This has been the worst year ever. I cannot wait to get through to the end of it and into the next year. And I kind of discard it and discount it. And I found myself saying that after one particularly hard year, and I had to stop myself towards the end of the year and go, hang on a minute, I am completely throwing out this year as a bad year and not taking stock of the good things that have happened, not looking at it in a way that might actually teach me what I've learnt this year, what I've gotten out of it, how I've overcome some of the challenges this year. So I stopped and I started writing myself a list of all the good things that had happened, all the things that I'd persevered through, how I'd gotten through them, even though they were tough and challenging. And I started to realize that my year was better than I thought it had been. And so it kind of redeemed the year for me by doing this little practice of reframing the year and finding those things that were meaningful and positive to me. So we can turn around a year that's been really bad, and it doesn't invalidate that it has been tough or that you've been through challenges, but you can kind of retake and reclaim and redeem your year by looking at it through a different frame. And so we often know when we look at something through a lens, through a different frame, it can change the whole perspective. It can change how we're seeing, what meaning we make of it. So when we put a different lens or a different frame around something, and we either see part of the picture or the whole picture, or it might just brighten the whole picture up by putting a different frame, right? So it really changes things. So reframing is a common technique that is used throughout sort of counseling and therapy and things like that. But it's a really useful everyday technique, and I think it's really useful at the end of a year as well, particularly one that has been a bit hard with COVID and lockdowns and things like that. So reframing is changing the way that you look at something. It is, changing the frame, changing the meaning in what you've experienced, and rather sort of writing everything off as bad, or this happened to me, this sucks, this is, everything always happens to me that's bad. We can look back over things and go, well, hang on a minute. How can I look at this differently? Is there another way to look at this? So we might ask ourselves, what did I learn through this year? What did I learn out of that challenge? Or even though it was really hard at the time, what opportunities did that challenge present me? So maybe if lockdown was really hard, we can go back and think, well, is there anything that I learned from that? Were there any opportunities that were presented to me during that time? Such as, being able to make my lunch at home instead of buying lunch. And so therefore I saved money. That's a positive thing. How did you yourself get yourself through that time? So what I mean by that, go and ask yourself, what strengths did I bring to this problem? How did I overcome this problem? What was it about me and my strengths that got me through this time? Because sometimes we forget how much strength we do have and how much capacity we do have to overcome and get through challenges. So you can ask yourself questions like, what did I learn about myself this year? What was the most fun that I had this year? Because we forget about the fun sometimes. What was my favorite memory? What is something new that I did this year? Maybe it can be, how did I step out of my comfort zone this year? How did I get through my hardest times? What am I looking forward to? So what skills did I acquire this year? There's so many things you can ask yourself and kind of redeem your year. So if you've had a really tough year and you're sort of getting through to the end of it going, I just can't wait for this year to be over, I'm done with it, it is the worst year on record, or just anything along those lines where I'm ready to be done, it's really helpful to stop, take pause, take stock, and ask yourself some of these questions and write a list of all the things that you have achieved this year, whether it be a personal achievement because you overcame something, whether it be because you learned something new, whether it's an achievement in your career or health or relationships. What are the good things that came about because of this year and because of the strengths that you brought to this year? So hopefully that's helpful to start shifting your perspective a little bit, because look, we've all been there. As I said, I was doing that. I was declaring the year as a write-off, and doing this actually really helped me to see how many good things I'd had in the year, as well as the things that I had done to get me through it. And that made me feel more confident in approaching challenges going forward, and made me realize that I had more strength than I thought that I had. So get yourself a pen and paper, get a cuppa, go to the beach, something like that, and have a look at 2021 and ask yourself some of those questions. I'll chat more around this next week, and feel free to reach out to me at any time as well, and I'll pop a few sample questions below in the description so that you can use those as a starting point. But hopefully that's been helpful. Let's reclaim the year if it's been a tough one, and we'll chat with you soon. Have a good one.